all rise, right to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see, tonight, myself, David Rathkip, I'm here. Mara's here, and we have Lauren and Kathleen from administration. So, be short and sweet tonight, right?
Please.
Okay, so the first item is the per capita tax analysis.
Okay, I placed a packet in front of you. It's a summary that Mary Ellen Rhodes, our tax clerk, prepared based on last year's 15 per capita. That sets forth the direct expenses at the top for the cost of printing and mailing, etc., all the way across for the initial mailings plus supplemental mailings as adjustments come in, and the reminder notices, and the cost of tax collectors at the 10 cent per bill, and any exoneration she included there. So she's got an approximate expense of $22,328 for the year. That $22,328, like I say, is a direct expense, but if you go down to the bottom under additional expenses, she listed some of the very time-consuming, tough to measure. She spends a lot of time on per capita because of problems and return bills and all that goes with it. So she just simply listed there a lot of the time that she spends in reconciliations, etc. Then if you move back up to the center, you'll see the revenue from the 3 municipalities based on the number of bills, and also the reimbursements coming back from the municipalities for their share of printing and postage, and the delinquent collections from Berkheimer, for a total revenue of $133,606. So that gives you a rough idea of how that program is playing out, at least for the 2015 year. You have a net of about $110,000 of revenue based on about 12,000 bills.
Seems like a lot of work.
I did call Springford and ask them for a little more detail on what the outcome was. This is their first year. The document that we had here indicated 2014, but they said they just initiated it this year, and they really don't know. They don't know what they have: 2 townships, 2 boroughs, and they don't know if they attempted to pick up the slack where they left. They did increase their millage, stayed within the index to do it, increased their millage to recover what they gave up by eliminating both per capitas.
Let the tape show that Mr. Lucas O'Neill came in, so we're up to, we got 3/4 of our membership now. So then would if we stop doing it, then the townships would have to pick up themselves? Is that?
Yeah. They just, right now, as you're aware, we print the bills, mail the bills, and then each week we reimburse as it goes through our lockbox system, we reimburse the municipalities for their portion.
And they, if I remember correctly, they would in essence be able to pick up the monies that we gave up. Is that correct?
My research in Act 511, which is the only portion that they can be involved with, because Act 679 is school code, that they could recover what we gave up. Then,
so there's no going, we do it, you can't go back and say, hey, we changed our minds, give us back the, right?
the folks in Springford feel that that they could go back to referendum and try to recover it
Okay.
under Act 511, or under Act 1 to recover an Act 511. The Act 679 is, their Section 679 is school code, so that's
Right.
ours anyway.
Right. So did they, were they able to then take the person that was handling this and assign them different duties? Or did
The person I talked to, the person that I needed to talk to wasn't there, and the person that I was talking to didn't know how much savings they had by simply moving it over to real estate.
I certainly think it's intriguing.
It is, and I mean, I'm assuming the municipalities reimburse us for postage and
Yeah, that's-
printing,
that's-
but they're
that's-
not,
that's-
but they're not reimbursing us for any type of
Salary.
administrative costs.
Right.
And I'll be honest, Berkheimer is a pain to deal with regarding this tax too. And it's on you to prove that you paid it or that you don't owe it. And I'll be honest, last year my wages actually got attached for my ex-husband's 2010 per capita tax, and I had to prove to them that we were divorced in 2008. But in the meantime, my wages got attached for like $80-some. You know, I'm like, how is it my responsibility to prove this? You know, but it's very difficult to deal with.
You're guilty till proven innocent.
Exactly. I was appalled that they even had that authority, but I read the code and sure enough they
You
do.
do.
So, it's not the most user-friendly for people that they have to deal with. So,
Comments, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Tamara said. I mean, that sounds like between the hassle, right, and then whatever administrative costs there are, it certainly seems like it's something that it's worth looking into.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I think, my opinion there would be we should kind of look at if we can, maybe not necessarily quantify, but at least maybe get our hands around how many hours we're putting into this.
I'll get more details from them.
And then I think probably the decision would be made when we, I guess, eventually decide on what our next year when we're actually figuring out whether we're going to raise taxes, and if we are, how much. And because obviously if we're in a situation where we do have to raise taxes to the maximum, and then we take this back, and then there's no, like you said, they made it up by raising the millage. They didn't actually just say, we don't want the money. They just took it from another pocket.
In round numbers, this is a tenth of a mill of real estate. But hey, you think, so if we were to go the route that Springford did, and you recover it through real estate tax, and the municipalities step up to the plate and say, oh, we're going to pick up
Then all residents are basically still paying that.
double hit.
Yeah.
So, but that's some preliminary. I'll dig deeper into this and
oh
get
yeah,
back.
I don't think it would be worthwhile for Union and Birdsboro just because of their population to probably collect it.
Yep.
I mean, the expense they would pay to collect it would be silly, but I guess for Amity.
That was what we experienced up north with 6 municipalities, rural areas. You couldn't get. You were exonerating half of what you sent the tax bills, and we were paying $3.45 a tax bill
Right.
to send them out, and we just said, get it.
Is that something that, I know that TCC does handle nuisance taxes. Is that something we can just say to them? I
Give us a quote?
I can find out, yeah.
You could.
And then we're not worrying about our employee doing it. So here you go.
I'm surprised they're not advertising.
And they would probably have most of the census data anyway. You know, I don't know, I know Cook Valley did away with it too. I don't know if it was 2 years ago or if they only did it last year too, but it was the same thing. They went to their tax collectors and they said, well, 'cause they all have the independent tax, and they wanted to, lower what they were paying them. I think they were paying like $3 a bill, and they said, well, we only want to pay like $1.50 or $2, and the tax collector said, we can't do it for that, you know, so just do away with it if you're gonna,
Right?
you know, so.
That was the approach we took.
Okay, so, that's, you know, so it seems like it could be a feasible possibility, so, you know, you don't need to, you can, when you have a free minute, gather some more information, but it's obviously something we don't need to decide until, spring.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Blazer Foundation.
Okay, I also placed before you a handout that Kathleen prepared for you that has the backup on where we are with the note and whatnot for the Blazer Foundation. $34,000 total, made up of two $12,500 contributions plus three $3,000 items related to consulting, apparently from the initial startup.
Okay, so that wasn't part of that initial 12, so that they, okay, that was separate.
Right, it wasn't included in the 25, is what we're saying.
Correct. It's 25 plus 9 makes up the 34.
Okay.
You've got 2 pages of agreements, I believe. Correct me, right, Kathleen?
Yeah, there's 2 promissory notes in the back.
Yep.
The last 2 pages are the 2 promissory notes for $12,500 apiece. And then the agreement in the middle is that RWN consulting agreement between the foundation district and RWN, and the board page where it was approved in June of 2012.
I had also asked Michelle Miller for synopsis of what they've taken in, and I actually did print copies. I'm not going to sit on my printer at work, so I'll have to read it out to you. So she's so like from when they, I guess from September 13, 2013, when they, I guess, got off the ground running until current. From their fundraisers, and that's the carnival, the 25 Days of Christmas, they've donated a total of $34,000. And that has gone to specific projects, including TSA, SAD, Odyssey, and Mine. The EITC credits that they've gotten so far was $9,000, which went to the high school TV studio and the Green Team. Grants, and I think this is probably mostly from Pottstown that they've gotten over the years. $54,000 in grants, and that's gone to the greenhouse and the nature trail. And then payroll deductions, they've gotten $14,000, and that goes to teacher grants.
14,000, Dave?
Yes, that's what I was told. Obviously, that's approximate, but
Right.
yeah. So that's the money that they've raised in total.
And that fundraiser, top number of 34,
Yep.
came back directly to the district in one form or another.
Yes.
Interesting number.
Unless, well, let's see. Well, it's a good question. Did it all come back? Because obviously they had the, how much was salary for Stephanie?
Okay.
Because I don't think that initial money was enough to cover her. Do you remember what her salary was?
So she didn't give you the expenditures, operating expenditures over the same 4-year period?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they've lowered that, but initially that was higher. but then they, they realized that they weren't making money, so I think they lowered the amount of money that the director makes.
Right, and Stephanie went without, at some point, right? Like during some portion of her term, she didn't get paid, I believe, and then now,
Maybe the very
I think you're
beginning.
right that Michelle is drawing a smaller salary than Stephanie was originally,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what the numbers are.
I'll see if Michelle is standing by her phone. So anyway, that's while I'm kind of waiting on that. So what are, and we had a brief conversation about, at a general meeting, but
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't really add up. What did they raise? Did you total it?
43, 97, 107, 111 looks like.
yeah, and I got to think that of the fundraisers, that's probably where that money came to pay the, whatever the director, I know some of it's come back to us. But obviously, I would think they couldn't pull the money, the grant money had to go with what the grant was written for, so.
Right.
And I think the payroll deductions are probably also dedicated to teacher grants, so.
So in 5 years, there's probably somewhere around 100, if that range, we got somewhere around 100,000 maybe, knock out 10 for, so I don't know what the salary was, so I don't know if it's more or less.
I seem to recall the original salary for Stephanie was probably like 20 something?
I really
So
don't.
I thought it was decent.
Yeah, but then when they found out that they weren't, I think that was the first year, and then year 2, she cut it because they weren't making the kind of money that they thought they were going to make. Because the original loans were basically for that salary, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if you look at 12.5,
Yeah, for some reason 12 stuck in my head as the salary.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
For
somewhere
some
around there.
reason, that's the number that,
then that might have been why there was two loans in, right?
right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe they're, I don't necessarily have an issue with, forgiving it, like I say, because how are you gonna make them pay it anyway? If they don't have it, they don't have it.
Right.
I don't know how you make them pay it, but
Mrs. Bites' suggestion
I
was,
kind of liked the,
if you donate X number of dollars per year, we'll, wipe off X number of dollars.
Kind of
Kinda
like
gives them an incentive.
tuition remission with the employees. Stay 5 years, or it was 1 year, but
right,
a forgiveness plan.
right.
I mean, so they owe us 21.5. So, in essence, you could say if they gave us a minimum of 5,000 a year, we would, you could exonerate the loan in 4 years to get rid of those, knock that one.
34,000.
34 total.
Yeah, that's the first page.
Oh, perfect, thank you. Okay.
That's an account
Oh, I forgot the
reconciliation.
9,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
it totals at the very top where the,
630 of 15 on the books right now is 34,000.
Yeah, okay.
Should be 62. Last year. Oh, there it is.
yeah, each reconciliation
Yeah,
year.
print
I
it
had to
out
go
that way,
back. There wasn't any at all.
I mean, I don't want to stretch it out too long.
Well, you want to look at 10,000 a year and 3 years you can forgive it.
But and what if they don't reach 10,000?
Again, I don't know how, you know what I mean? I don't know how you make them pay it back.
Right.
They're all volunteers other than one, right? So,
Right.
Revisit it in 3 years.
That's fine with me.
I mean, I think it's fine too. And, I mean, do grants and whatnot count towards that? It's not, you just need to decide what
What counts?
What counts towards the 10, whatever the number is that we decide upon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, they're taking the time and effort to go out and write the grant.
I think so too.
And, you know,
Administrate it and do all that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I just wanted to, you know, I just think it should be clear.
Right,
that
that makes sense,
How, over what time
Um,
period?
especially these days. You know, you question about everything,
At what point are they not receivable?
so.
And it, Lauren, if I recall, it just got brought up because the receivables on the books, right? Like,
Yeah.
you guys weren't saying we
Yep.
needed, you weren't, your interest wasn't really financial. It was more just, there's this thing that's out there that every year we get asked about, right?
The
that
the auditors raise the issue every year, not as a finding, but as a
Right.
comment. Oh, by the way,
Right.
you've got $34,000 on your books. You have a note that's overdue.
Okay. So if we said that the plan is to forgive it over 3 years based on some minimum, you know, contribution from the foundation, that would handle that question for the 3 years?
Sure, I don't see why it wouldn't.
I mean, you think, right, okay.
Yeah.
Write it off in foods.
Yeah, yeah.
fine.
That makes perfect sense to me.
You want to make it 10? You want to make it 5? 7,500?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, given what we've already, what the return appears to have been, right, I don't feel like it needs to be 34, do you?
No.
I mean, I think they've, particularly because of the grants, right, I think they've already probably returned the money, so, I think 5 would be fine. I'd be fine with 5.
Yeah, I just think, you know, Carol wanted the minimum just so they didn't kind of give up.
And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And 5 should certainly be doable, right? If they're not doing 5, then there shouldn't be a foundation, right? I mean,
Right.
if they can't actually contribute $5,000 in grants or contributions to the, then I don't
Then
really
why-
see any
why-
point
why-
in having a foundation. So,
All right, so our recommendation will be exonerate in 3 years with a minimum contribution of $5,000 a year. I guess if they miss that contribution, then continue on for another year in the books. Is that extended?
or do we want to give them the opportunity to make it up in a subsequent year? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Do we then say, okay,
Counting what they've
that
done.
year we don't deduct anything. No minimum $5,000, we don't deduct anything from the loan. It gets
Okay.
pushed out another year.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
That's fine.
I think that's fine.
So we're all in agreement on that?
Yep.
Okay. Easy peasy.
Moving right on.
Okay,
Give her a card.
we have a
I hear you're
presentation by
on.
Kathleen.
Yeah, I put a packet together for everybody to see. The first page is just what Jay Himes had gone to the presentation for Easy Procure, and he was able to take a photo shot. Easy Procure wouldn't give me those numbers specifically, but because it was on Twitter, I was able to grab it off the photo. You can see, we already have a credit card. We're using Vist. We're using that for purchases. We're not doing a heavy amount on it, but we are using the credit card for convenience factor in purchasing. We're all switching to credit cards. There's a lot of people switching to credit cards. With Easy Procure, we're only asking to switch the vendor to Easy Procure, which is PASBO recommended, and there's a incentive of a rebate. So if you notice the list of school districts, that a lot of school districts participated in the state of Pennsylvania and Ohio. And these are the rebates these people saw this year. That's revenue that they generated just by paying the bills. Okay? So there's frequently asked questions. Everything runs the same. It's they call it a procurement card because it's a procurement system. You know, there's all kinds of controls on it. The same as with every other credit card that, you know, even the one we have now. You set your little, there's merchant little numbers. You can say you can't buy food at gas stations, this, that, and the other. We can roll it out to where we just have the one card in the district office, or it can go across where the principals could have it. That's a, you know, decision, however, how far out you want it to go. The same rules apply with all the purchasing. A PO must be in place before they can purchase. It looks the same. It can actually run the card. Actually, it'll have the name of the person. Like my name is on one of the Vist cards right now. and it has Daniel Boone Area School District. This card also has the option of putting the tax ID on it, which makes it much more convenient if you're taking it somewhere to use it. Same controls, like I said. Liability coverage is the same with any other credit card. And then what they go into explaining is their purchase limit. Because they're going with everybody that has this procurement card, they base it on how much purchases, and then they give you, it's based on the basis point. All right, so they are about to hit 100 million in spending using this card across the state of Pennsylvania and Ohio. And with that, you'll see that it's 115 basis points off this sheet right here. Okay, I did a small calculation just using the 113 basis point on the next page. If we roll it out slowly, let's just say I use $200,000 in purchases. Basically, that would be about $2,200 in revenue. We have approximately, taking out the one-time vendors, the tax, when we refund taxes and this, that, and the other, we have about $6 million worth of expenditures through accounts payable. You're talking legal fees. All lawyers can be paid with credit cards. So can accountants, so the auditors could be paid that way. I have on my desk right now a $50,000 invoice for the server that was purchased at the end of last year. I'd like to pay it with this card for that purpose, for getting the rebate back. But if we can get it up to $3 million of purchasing, you're looking at an additional about $34,000 worth of revenue. So something we're already doing, but with a benefit.
I do it at home.
I do it,
Everything-
Disney.
Anything I can.
everything.
Um,
So they said, basically, just as a one last point, is Elizabethtown School District has an annual budget of $53 million. Their rebate last year was $40,860. $60. They spent $3.6 million using the card. Commonwealth Connection has an annual budget of $45 million. Their rebate last year was approximately $37,000. They spent $3 million last year on the card, using the card to pay the bills. This runs through PISLOF. We already have an account through PISLOF. They automatically take the bill. There won't be any late fees or anything associated with that. We just reconcile it on the back end and charge it accordingly. So, any questions?
What do we do now? Like, I know you said that when the credit cards use the Salinas PO, that kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. When, say, facilities need some, I don't know, fixing something, and they need a bolt, they don't have it, they run down to Ace or something. How do they do that now?
We have open accounts with,
You have accounts?
With
Okay.
those vendors, correct.
Okay, with local, okay. Because it seems kind of time consuming. You had to go, get a price, go back, get a PO.
they have
Okay.
open accounts.
No, there's an certain, yeah, they have an open account and open PO on the system with that.
Okay.
Like
I just
ACE, we would put an open PO with a certain dollar amount based on the expenditures from prior year. And I would put an open PO, so he knows he has a PO that he can go make those purchases when he
And
needs
charge
to.
it back.
And charge it back, and we still have a PO that's signed on file for the reasonable dollar amount based on the expenditures year to year to year.
Okay.
So who were you thinking of issuing the cards to?
Right now, it would be the business office.
We keep it in the district office.
And
initially.
see how, let's roll it out, and let's see what we're doing and how much, because I like that control over it just for now. And then roll it out further if necessary in the future. We'll
Yeah, that's-
discuss it.
That's pretty much working now with the credit card
Mhm.
we have. There was a time when there were some credit cards floating and we
Reel them
reined
back in.
But now, we don't have as many people needing to go buy widgets now.
The seven calendar day grace period is pretty tight.
Well, actually, they deduct it directly on a certain day, right from your PISLOF account, and then we reconcile it on the back end. No late fees, no nothing. I can pull the statement.
So they have the authority to automatically go in and pull.
They pull it, correct. They work, PNC works directly with PISLOF. The requirement is you have to have a PISLOF account for this.
So-
Now,
so
I
then you would go
implemented
back and
this.
reconcile and make sure that they're.
Absolutely, and you can pull that account all during the month. I pull it before they charge it. I'm able to list it out, I pull it right into an Excel spreadsheet, and then we make sure we have all the POs, everything's in line the way it should, and there's no excess spending that shouldn't be there. And you question it at that time, of course, but.
And the description is pretty good on the statement, like, so you know what you're.
Oh, absolutely. I pulled the statement before it's due, and I implemented this at Exeter. And I ran it and raised the credit limit so they could use more over at Ole. So I'm the one that usually pulled the statement to give to the accounts payable person, and they put it together. But yeah, it was very descriptive, because you know what your credit cards. That's one of the benefits of having just the district office having a card. I know what I'm paying with a credit card, and I'm going to make sure all my stuff's there before that purchase is made.
Do you foresee, paying, for example, the utilities and those kinds of things with it?
Utilities are kind of, there's not very many utilities you can actually pay with a credit card if you know I know there's a couple I can pay, like personally, there's not very many you can pay where they want the access right to your checking account. But whatever we could, as long as the controls are still going to be in place, those bills are still going to be reviewed. If we see anything that's out of line, whatever, there's the same process. It's just switching the vendor so we can make some money.
Virtually any vendor that will accept Visa or
Right.
will
It's
accept
the
it.
same thing.
Well, I know, I'm assuming you guys probably use Windstream. We use Windstream, and it doesn't seem to, we send them a check the day the bill comes in, and it's still always late. And we don't even go through a meeting. We just handwrite the check. And so, I for example, at the township, I started putting that on an auto pay on the, because it was like a $20 late fee. And I'm like, we're sending the check out the same day. And somehow they don't get it for 3 weeks, and
We're
so-
analyzing that in our office as well.
Yeah. So I do think that there's positives to it, because then it's never late fees, it's just
Right.
automatic.
That's the best thing about this card, is that they take it directly. Because you know that if you pay one time and then you get that late fee or whatever, the interest, then the interest has to catch up for 2 months before you finally wipe it clean, so.
Dan, anything?
No, obviously it seems like a no-brainer, right? If we're already doing it with a credit card, why would we not, like you said, generate
Make
that
money off of
revenue
it.
doing the same thing? I don't see why anyone would have any concerns with it.
So you did commit fraud, as long as we fire you, we're good? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
I'm looking at the fraud, the liability waiver program. Sounds like, recommend that to the full board, I guess, right?
Yeah, I appreciate you thinking outside the box for revenue sources. Instead, we're already using a credit card,
Now, the-
makes sense.
Does that go to the facilities committee, the money that comes in, the facilities needs?
I'm sorry, what?
Does it go to facilities, the money that comes in?
Yeah, there you go, I like it.
But the fact that we're simply switching vendors, do you want a simple resolution saying that we're going to switch? We want to get rolling on this. is where-
I mean, does it have to be a resolution, or is it something that does it have to be board approved?
I don't think it has to be board approved. We're already, one piece that Kathleen and I were looking at this afternoon, we've had a credit card here for years. We're not sure we have a credit card policy. We can't, unless it's buried in a purchasing policy someplace, but we did a quick scan of policies.
Right.
And I didn't see it.
So we're really, in fact, during the course of the last year, we switched from some Visa outfit down in Alabama or someplace and moved to this, and we didn't bring it back to the board, so
I mean, we could make it as informational.
that would be our preference, because that's all we're doing. And I was going to do further research, and if there isn't, they have a recommended use of credit card policy that they mention here from PSBA
And I
that we
also,
could pass through the committee.
Yeah, I mean, we probably should have
Right.
a policy in place so that,
and I took
Keep
that
it.
one and made it Exeter, so we can also pull Exeter's change in it.
So
I
make-
already did that one over there too.
get that onto Mrs. Vice's
Yes.
Committee.
agenda.
Okay, so we will just plan on moving ahead here, and
I'll just get the signature cards and then we'll be good. All
you
right?
can bring those.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And I'll get rolling on it then.
How's our, I think, audit, is that,
They'll be back for week 2, a week from Monday, or 2 weeks. Week
On the
from
12th,
Monday.
the
Week from Monday,
12th or
yeah,
the
week from
19th.
Monday. Monday's the 5th already. Yeah. Okay.
And anything with Harrisburg? What's up with the Social Security? Are they, what are they?
Just as they announced, we'll get it eventually. Plan Con is still in the works, just as the way we described it.
Okay. All right. Well, then, anything else from the board? Our Reading Eagle reporter, or is that?
I'm good.
He's like, wow, I get to go home early.
Yeah. All right. Well, 6:41. Meeting is adjourned.
Nice.